So this presentation will provide information based on the work of Northeast ISD. LEAs may use the information gained during the presentation as they see fit to build their own PFE program based on the needs of their school community. The purpose of this presentation is to provide strategies for LEAs to consider. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in the presentation belong solely to the presenters and not necessarily the Texas Education Agency. The Texas Education Agency does not endorse any of the resources and/or products referenced in the presentation. And with that, I would like to go ahead and, lastly, sorry about that. This is our team here. If you have any questions, not just with the Expo, but for PFE in general, please reach out to us. You can find our information to contact us on our PFE webpage, but these are the faces that are attached to those names on our website. And so without any further ado, I would like to go ahead and turn it over to Northeast ISD and Araceli. Are you ready?
Yes, we are absolutely ready. I think Kathy will be putting on our presentation. And good morning. Thank you all for sticking around and wanting to hear some of the great things that we're doing here. And hopefully you'll be able to take these ideas back with you. Before we get started, I wanted to make sure to emphasize the importance that the efforts have not just been from me. A lot of your districts have a team for the family engagement program at the district level, not at Northeast. At Northeast, it is me, myself, and I, which I'm okay with, because we've got family specialists at 60 of our campuses, and they are doing the grassroots efforts. They are in the trenches doing the work, and that has been very effective for us. So I wanted to make sure before we go any further that it was important for me to be able to share these great ideas, but to bring a family specialist along who's been doing a lot of the work and a partner with us that is our ITS specialist. She does our technology support, and it has been a great collaboration. One of the biggest things I want to share is the collaboration that we've been doing. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started, and let us know if you have any questions. So my name is Araceli Dominguez, and I am the Assistant Director for Family Engagement.
And I am Kathy Hurlbert. I am an instructional technology specialist that works in the district supporting teachers and educators in general.
Good morning, and my name is Maribel Lacey. I'm a family specialist at Woodstone Elementary.
So one of the things I wanted to start off with is the norms for today. But it was important for us to share this with you because this is something that we've been sharing with our parents. So once the pandemic hit, we were forced into doing virtual classes, and at some campuses has been well, and other campuses we've struggled a little bit, but we've been doing district-wide campuses as well. And some of the norms that we try to tell our parents is try to find that area in your home where you can be relaxed and be present to learn. And I know we're all guilty. I am the worst. I'm here at a training, I've got 2 screens going on, and I'm trying to learn to, get best practices and grow in my career, in my program. But then I see my phone, and then I'm checking, text messages that are coming in. I'm checking IMs that are coming in, or even emails. So I ask you to please try to put those aside. It's okay if you answer in an hour. Unfortunately, technology's been great, but it does put us in that mode of, I need to respond right away. I need to respond. So if we can kind of mindfully work on that and then share that with our parents, because our parents also, I think that sometimes adds to our stress. If you can, I know it's hard, try to put the to-do list aside. And then, of course, any questions in the chat box. I did want to share, we're going to share a presentation with you all. So don't feel like you have to take all the notes down. Matthew and his group are going to send that out to you. And then you'll have our information so you can email us at any time if you have any further questions that we can continue with and be able to help you answer. Thank you. So we're going to talk about the TEA strategic priorities. I know we've all seen this and we kind of look at it and get a little overwhelmed, right? Family engagement. How do we tie family engagement to what the state wants us to prioritize, right? Building a foundation of reading and math, and then connect high school to career and college. Those are the ones we're going to focus on this morning. We really do have the capability and the know-how. How do we get our parents to understand how to build that foundation for reading and math at home? So at Northeast, we've been able to get math and reading specialists, science specialists at the campus levels. The family specialists have been able to work and collaborate with the specialists at their own campuses to offer information to their parents. Family specialists are great at recruiting the parents, the flyers, put it on their calendars. They're great at getting the parents in. They have built that relationship with them. Then the math or reading coach comes in and they're the expert in what can you do at home to grow reading skills and math skills with your child. How do you help with homework? I know myself, I have 3 kids, and I tell you what, by the time they got to 5th, 6th grade, I couldn't help with math anymore. That was not my area. So I depended on others and teachers to help because it was difficult for me. So being able to bridge that and bring our specialists in to teach our parents is key. The other thing that we've really been able to do a good job, and we're still growing it, is connecting our high school students to career and college readiness and military readiness. How do we do that? Making sure our parents know 5th grade, middle school, what are the magnet schools that Northeast has to offer? What are the certification classes that they can take at high school to come out with a medical assistant certification, diesel mechanics, welding? We've got EMS certification classes that our students can take in high school. So when they graduate, they're ready to jump right into the workforce. So as a district, that is one of our priorities, is making sure our students know the opportunities, but the family specialists at the campus level have done a phenomenal job in sharing this information to our parents. We all know secondary, our middle school and high school students, we share all this information with them. Some of them might share it with their parents, but majority do not necessarily share this, these details with their parents. I know my son personally wanted to take 2 early release his senior year because it's like, well, I get to go home and relax. This is great. But if parents knew, well, you can take these certification classes, then they highly recommend to their kids or encourage their children to take these classes, and then they come out with certifications. So it's that information that is so important for us to share with our parents, bridging the parents in to be able to know all the different benefits of attending Northeast and your school district as well. I know there's a lot of school districts offering the same industry certification classes for them. We are also able to offer early literacy classes that goes back into your reading classes. And then the family specialist, prior to COVID, the pandemic put a little bit of a damper on this, but family specialists for years have been taking parents to university field trips. They'll take them to our community colleges. They'll take them to UTSA, Our Lady of the Lake. We're blessed in San Antonio to have so many universities in our area that the family specialists they invite parents, put them on a school bus, and they go and tour a university here in San Antonio. So that is another best practice that I think is great for everyone. Because of the pandemic, now these universities are doing virtual tours. So anyone in the state of Texas, all of you, if you're in Lubbock, if you're in Dallas, look into your university tours that are virtual. Now you can really share it with your parents, have a class on that, and take everyone as a group. You're going to do this virtual tour. These are ideas on how we at Northeast are really focusing on these priorities that the state is wanting us to do. At Northeast ISD, our family engagement program, we do have the Leadership Academy, and I know everyone has some different variations. We do have 5 domains. The first one is parenting. We have life skills and essential knowledge, academic skills. But I want to point out the 5th one. A couple of years ago, we made a change to our domains, and the 5th one is leadership and community service. How are we growing our parents to take on a leadership role at their campus? How are they able to give back to their own community? A lot of us work in our schools, but then we go home to a different community. It's empowering our parents on how to really take a big role in their community, a leadership role, helping the schools make decisions for their child's education, and then community service back. It's great for us to give back to our own community. So those are our domains. And we really want to make sure that in the beginning of the school year, every family specialist does a beginning of year presentation to their staff. It's important for your own staff at your own campus to understand what you as a family specialist or family liaison does at that campus, and really understand everything that you do. So they do this beginning of year presentation and share everything out with the staff members. Then they have a Family Engagement Leadership Academy orientations and share out with the parents, what is the Family Engagement Leadership Academy? What is it about? And is it something I want to do or not? So it's very grassroots initiatives that they do at their own campuses.
And this is our journey. So we're going to share information that could be life-changing for you. I'm all about simplifying my life, and we want to make yours easier too. So let me begin with the end in mind. As a parent, I want to be able to access parent trainings, school information, and resources with ease. As a family specialist, I want to be productive with my time. I want to create flyers, gather information, update information, and correct information effortlessly. So 3 years ago, our family specialist department made some changes, and now I had 2 campuses to serve. All I knew was prior to that was 1 campus. So you currently may find yourself in a similar situation where you serve more than 1 campus, or you may have limited staff and resources as support. So I found myself frustrated, overwhelmed, and at times it felt like a failure. I knew what to be at 1 campus was, but now I had 2. So I had to work through all of this and change my paradigm. So I knew that my old ways of reaching families or communicating with families had to change. So prior to the pandemic, we communicated with families through limited ways, such as printed flyers, face-to-face contact, phone calls, meetings, principal messages, marquees, and announcements, etc. For the most part, these were effective tools. So whether you are at 1 school or several schools, this can be a daunting task. Then 2020 hit, and I had to rethink how I personally did things. How can I reach families? We were now having to brainstorm and quickly come up with other ways to communicate. We are a talented group, but we are not instructional technologist specialists. Do you know what they actually do? Honestly, I thought instructional technologists were people that fixed computers. And so again, I asked myself, how can we reach and support families despite the change? So I began to ask Kathy many questions. Let me tell you, Kathy has forever changed the way I do things. So this is when I began to tell her my vision, my dreams, my obstacles. I just told her my end in mind, this is what I need. So she knew her world and I knew mine. I needed her to show me. I needed help, Kathy. So when I learned the power of these new ways, I just had to share with Araceli and our family specialist. So how do we collaborate? So,
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So the things that we had to learn, and Kathy and her department were so instrumental in doing professional development classes for the family specialist. How can we broaden and take this to the next level? We did the s'more version prior to COVID. It was the free. Then we were able to really get the district to see the importance of having the licensed version that gave us more opportunities. With the licensed version of s'more, I was able to get every single family specialist and some counselors in one group. And within that group, they're able to share each other's newsletters. So Maribel, for example, did a great newsletter on all these community resources going through the pandemic. These are the resources that are out there. Did you suffer a loss? Do you need SEL? What are the things that our parents needed right there and then? She was able to put together this phenomenal s'more with all these resources. Then, because she was part of our group, other family specialists at their campuses were able to retrieve her newsletter, make a few changes, put their information, their picture in front of it, at the newsletter, and then send it out to their parents. Why is that important? Well, it's important for the parents and families to see their family specialist sending this information. They're at their campus. At Woodstone Elementary, they know who Maribel Lacey is. So there's that connection that she has built those relationships. If I sent the newsletter, they're gonna be like, who's Araceli Dominguez? I don't know who she is. They may or may not open it. But if they saw it's coming from Maribel Lacey, oh, I know Miss Lacey, they're gonna open it up. They have built a relationship with them. So the other family specialists were able to do the same and not spend those hours of putting it together, because Maribel had already done that. She shared it, and then the family specialists just tweaked it, made it their own, put their campus logo on it, their information, and then they sent it out to their families. Grassroots initiatives, phenomenal teamwork. We've been able to do Class Dojo, Seesaw. So with Seesaw, our family specialists are able to do an announcement to everyone that's using Seesaw. So they don't have to go classroom by classroom by classroom. Some of the tools that you have, you need to just find out, how can I work to use these tools for my benefit? How can I advertise my classes, my workshops? Remind is a great, so a lot of the family specialists have a small group of parents that come to all their classes, and they're part of the Family Engagement Leadership Academy. So they're able to instantly send them messages. So the reason why we have so many different apps or so many different applications that we have here listed is because they all work a little bit different. Class Dojo and Seesaw are for elementary level. The parents are able to see the child's work. Teachers post on there. They post their schedule. Then the campus can add campus items that are, don't forget picture day is tomorrow. It gets all sent out all together for the whole campus. So it's a little bit different. Then Blackboard is an online system that we use to send out blasts of emails, text messages, and or phone calls. So they're just systems. Every district has different ones. So you might want to check with your administrator to see which ones you have access to, and then learn about it. How can I make what the district is already paying for? How can I make that? How can that help me? One of the initiatives with Blackboard, it used to be just principals had access to Blackboard. Well, the past year and a half, little by little, we've been getting all the family specialists to get access. Why is that important? Well, it's important for the parents to hear from the family specialist on everything that they're offering throughout the month. What can I do? Where can I go to? They're doing lunch and learns. They're doing some classes in the morning, some in the evenings. So it's important to focus on all our parents, not just those that are EL parents or are looking for or having a crisis. We want to make sure that we're inviting all our parents to all our events. Skyward is our online grading process. That's where the parents can check their grades, attendance. Everybody's is a little bit different. But the reason I wanted to include that is we were able to, at the district level, create a sample account for an elementary child, middle school child, and then high school child. Why is that important? Well, family specialists were tasked to teach parents how to use this. A lot of parents didn't, I have no idea what Skyward is. I get the report card every 6 weeks, every 9 weeks, and then that's it. Well, family specialists have been going out there teaching parents, how do I use it? Why do I want to know about this? My kid gets good grades. I don't need to know about that. Well, if there's missing assignments, you can get notified on that. But we created sample families because some of our family specialists don't have kids at Northeast. So how are they going to get access? So I worked with central office, that department, create a family for us that the family specialists can use to teach parents with, and you're not sharing any student's information out there. So that's why that was important. And then of course, Zoom, that has been our online platform. We've been able to do and offer classes online. It has been great for some campuses. Some campuses have struggled a little bit, but like I tell our team, it's okay. We need to continue with our passion, continue offering these classes. And how can we get this out there to our parents? If they don't come today, they might come next week. We need to continue offering these classes. So make sure to check with your administrators to see what the district has to offer. I did want to let you know that if Title I can pay for some of these applications, as long as your whole district is Title I, you can. If not, state compensatory education, you can also pay for some of these. They pay for our Ready Rosie because that is an extension that's supplemental to instruction. So if it's helping us with what we're teaching our kids during the day, and it's extending that learning to our parents in evenings and weekend hours, then that is an approved purchase to be able to do. So just FYI, ask these questions. Can Title I pay for it? Can State Comp Ed pay for it? There's ways to be able to go around and purchase these things for us. So then we ask for parent feedback. We've always asked for parent feedback. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
That's okay.
So on the collaboration, let's talk about some collaboration. So Kathy and I put our two worlds together and came up with several trainings that would help jumpstart the family specialists in these new ways. And now we offer monthly technology trainings. My circle of influence became really larger and larger as I met more professionals in ISD. I reached out to special ed department, have a son who has special needs. And so wanted to reach those families. It's so important for me to do that. I reached out to behaviorists, coaches, math, reading, and many others. And so as a result, they were able to do more parenting trainings. So at our monthly family specialist meetings, we have some time set aside so we can meet as a cluster and we share ideas and events. One of the things I'm working on right now as a cluster is a food bank drive. However, we don't stop there. Our Madison cluster consists of several elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school. And so we, on our teams group, we share our flyers in a way that they can be edited right away and they can put their own personal information and send it out to their families. Again, because they want to see my group or my community. I want them to see me. I have a picture. I have my information. And so when we share those flyers and the trainings, we do that for each other. And, the goal is to have more parent training opportunities for our parents, evening, during the day, whatever the time allows, and the family specialists are able to take on that responsibility. So we share our flyers and we share our responsibilities. Our group really does understand the value of collaboration. And I tell you about my experience with my Madison group, but really around or in our family specialist community or group, they and we do a pretty good job of sharing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I completely agree. It is one of those things where really as a group, and I like to say the family engagement program, our whole department, it's the family specialists and myself. And we have always created committees for each of our projects, committees for different areas. So we have a technology committee within our family specialist group that helps the rest of the group and then will teach us different skills that we need or the family specialists need to do their daily job. But the collaboration within the clusters is so important. We meet on a monthly basis, and that is so important for them to share the work with each other, and that way it makes it easier for themselves. The collaboration that we've been able to do with adult education and community education is priceless. So adult education has a grant with the Workforce Solutions, and they have to teach X amount of students ESL classes and HSC classes, which was formerly known as GED classes. So family specialists have been able to partner up with them and bring them to their campus and have them, since they're the experts, teach these classes. So our parents were getting these ESL classes all over the district, where years before they were only in certain parts of the district. Now we've really been able to expand that opportunity for all our parents throughout the district. And so that collaboration has really made a huge difference for us, as well as nonprofit organizations. Work with your nonprofit organizations out there that offer parenting classes. We partner up with BCFS, Child Safe, A&M AgriLife. There's so many nonprofit organizations that need to educate X amount of parents. Partner up with them, bring them in, and that way you're able to work smarter and not harder, and bringing in these collaborations with your parents. And that's the biggest thing, is how we collaborated and how we were able to take it to the next level. So one of the other things I did want to share is our family specialists are part of the leadership team at every campus. Why is that important? Well, they meet with the principal, all the admin team, counselors on a weekly basis. So they understand what are the needs that the campus needs. What pockets do we have to work towards to achieve our campus goals? Understand your campus improvement plan. Those are long-term and short-term goals. Family specialists, family liaisons need to be a part of that, because if you need to pick up your writing skills, those scores need to go up. As a family liaison, family specialist, you can then have workshops for parents to teach that at home. Then at the end of the day, you're going to be helping your campus achieve those goals. Making sure that you work with your early childhood program. Our pre-K program has really grown at Northeast. And so family specialists at elementary school levels offer classes for parents that have early childhood children. And so just making sure that you're doing those collaborations. Then all the family specialists as a whole, we offered professional development led by Maribel and Kathy on the Google applications. How can you make your daily duties easier? And they're going to go into that a little bit later. But one of the things that we did do this past summer, actually, our handbook, our family engagement handbook, was always either given paper copies to the family specialist, then we moved to Google Drive, did it electronic. Now we put it in Google Classroom. Why was it important to transfer it to Google Classroom? It was important because we're expecting our secondary family specialists to teach parents how to use Google Classroom, but many of us had never used Google Classroom before. By putting all our tools and information in a classroom setting through Google has forced us to use it, to know how to upload information there, how to retrieve information. So it has kind of made us, we need to go in there and learn it, and has made it easier for secondary family specialists to then teach their parents and guide their parents. And then of course, the s'mores that I had talked about earlier.
All
I'll
right.
get into the fun stuff.
So this is kind of where I came in and what we were going to kind of highlight as we talk about with you guys today. So like Maribel mentioned, you know, she came to a point where she was in her position and said, you know, I need some help. We can't, you know, to be more effective. So, you know, I think when we think about our jobs, I live in a different world than these ladies. They are very skilled and talented when it comes to engaging families and resources. I come from more of the instructional and technology viewpoint, but Maribel reached out to me and said, how do I do this? You know, here's my dream, here's my vision. How do I make this work? And I had the know-how to share that with her. So, you know, as we're sharing some of the things that we did today, we really want to encourage you to be of the mindset that we can't operate in silos. To be the most effective we can be at our jobs, we may not have all the information that we need. So it's important to ask questions and seek out those resource people in your district and other places that we'll share with you today to ask questions. How can I be more effective? How can I do this more efficiently? So when we came to the point of the pandemic, you know, we were really, the department was really forced to make a shift or a change in how they did things. So we couldn't, you know, use the standard flyers and phone calls and face-to-face contact that we did in the past. And that was a scary place to be. Change can be very scary. People get apprehensive about it. But now that we're kind of on the other side of that, the change that has evolved, I think we have come out thriving, or the family engagement department has come out thriving. They're more effective, more efficient. They're able to do their job a little bit more easily because of the things that we learned together. So we're going to share some of those with you. So they have the very specialized know-how on, you know, supporting families. I brought my knowledge to the table, and together, you know, we really, you know, did some great learning that was very effective. So I know a lot of times in our positions, we learn a lot about things that are relevant to our, you know, what we do. But I think, you know, it's important that Araceli mentioned they invested time to learn about how the technology can support what they do. So in addition to, you know, learning how we can support families, we learned how do we use the technology to support families. So that was really impactful. So we talk, you know, just to kind of think a little bit about how technology plays a role. So technology is really everywhere. It's a part of it's the part of the fabric of our lives. Everything that we do pretty much nowadays is touched by technology in some way. And everyone that we encounter engages with technology in some way today. It really, some of the things that have been very tremendous for us in our collaboration is technology, and using the technology well has really provided the family engagement team with effective ways to reach hard to reach parents. So we've also been able to understand the online learning tools that our students were using during virtual learning, and then utilize those tools to deliver content to our families as well. So we could reach those families that we couldn't get into our buildings. So I think it's really helped the department to survive the pandemic, but also just to be more impactful in the long run, make our content more accessible. So we, you know, we have to learn how to move forward. And that's really, you know, another part, you know, piece of the future. Things change very quickly, and we have to have that mindset that we have to continue to learn, you know, whether that's, we may not continue to go to school, but we have to make efforts to learn as things change and evolve over time. So Araceli, I'd love for you to share a little bit about the feedback that's come from our work together from your families.
Absolutely. So yes, we've always asked for parent feedback. What can we do to make things better? What would you like to learn about? The feedback was huge coming back from the pandemic. And so we saw a lot of, anytime we offered evening classes, it was the cutest thing. I'm telling you, it was the cutest thing. We'd be having evening classes and we'd get a couple of hundred people attending these evening classes. And you see the mamas with the cell phone and they're cooking, they're making dinner because they're trying to still take care of the family, but they want to listen, they want to learn. There were some that would have it on their car and we're like, oh my gosh, please drive safely, turn it off in the car. We don't want anything happening. But the excitement that we got or the participation that we got from our evening classes was huge. And so being able to offer that has been a big opportunity for us to reach parents that normally don't come during the day classes that the family specialists offer at the campuses because they work. And so being able to adapt and adjust. The family specialists as a group have shared that responsibility. We know not everyone can do evening hours because we've got families of our own. So they've shared that within the family specialists. But if you break it down by cluster, it really only comes down to maybe once every 6 months that you would be able to do an evening class. But that's something that as a whole, within our department, the family specialists have been able to jump in, and some are like, you know what, I can do it. I'm fine with it. Please, no worries. So that has made a difference for us. Some of the information, so in the past, we used to have classes and then we'd have our translation devices for our Spanish speaking parents. Well, because we've been doing virtual classes, now we're offering, the class is 100% in Spanish. And our Spanish speaking parents have loved it because they don't have to read subtitles in the bottom. It's not a little bit different. It's all communication between Spanish. So all our class is 100% Spanish. We'll offer the class in English one day and then in Spanish another day. And it has really made a world of a difference. At some of our campuses, somebody had asked earlier, secondary, we struggle to get parents in. How do you get them to come to these classes or workshops? We have seen an increase in some of our secondary campuses where they're getting more parents than prior to COVID when they were offering classes during the day and in person. So it really does vary. What I ask, and for you to be mindful of, is what classes are you offering? What knowledge are you trying to give to them? Be mindful of that information that you're giving them, because if you're going to offer a class on how do I increase my son's GPA? How do I get my child more motivated to go to school? I know that one's a hard one, but the topics does make a difference on what you're offering the parent. We've had a lot of social emotional learning, and we've collaborated with that department to how do we teach our children to be resilient, because it has been tough for everybody, but our poor babies, it has been the toughest for them. How do we get them off their social media and go out and be a kid outside, because they're lacking in some of those skills? So it's one of those things where you have to know your audience, your parents, your community, but make sure that you're listening to what the parents are telling you. Ask for that feedback. Don't just do it in the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. Then you've missed a whole opportunity of changing your classes around. Ask on a regular basis. That can be online, in paper, however you want to do that. We were able to offer after-school tutoring. We've got a great partnership with the San Antonio Public Library. Actually, it's not just ours.
Araceli, we lost you.
Uh-oh. Maribel, you want to hop in while she's getting reconnected?
Sure.
Okay. I don't know what happened. Can you guys see me?
Back. Yes, perfect. You're back.
I don't know what happened. So anyway, the other thing that I want to do, love technology, right? This is one of the greatest things about technology. It's great when it works, and then sometimes you've got to adjust to it. Northeast also was able to partner up with the T-Chat. So we were able to offer online counseling, not through family engagement, through our counseling department, for our students and staff members. And the T-Chat is a program through UT Health Science Center. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
You guys are freezing up. Okay, you guys were freezing up. So these are great feedback. My child needs counseling, but I can't get them to the counseling appointment. These online resources that we were able to get has made a world of a difference with our parents and getting their feedback and then hopefully filling the needs that they need.
All right. So for us, for that department to get to that point where they were able to offer so many, different things and increase their impact, again, they had to invest some time to help them learn and develop in their skills. So Maribel and I are going to share with you some of the things that we really focused on providing the department with training on so they could be more effective. So the first thing that we dug into was how do we connect with and share information with families in a virtual setting. So we spent some time together as a department. This was us in our actual Zoom meeting on how to just use the tools of Zoom. How do you share your screen? How do you, use the feedback features? And then we also spent some time helping the family engagement specialists learn about teaching online, because what works in a physical classroom when you've got a parent training or a family training doesn't always work in a virtual environment. So we invested some time to talk about, what are some tools that you can use to engage your learners when you're teaching virtually. And we're going to share some resources with you in just a little bit on that. All right, Maribel.
Yes. So on our calendar, Cassie, there we go. So again, let's take a look at the big picture. This is one of the products that I have posted, this calendar I have posted on different platforms, the school website, Facebook, Seesaw. I could link it to Blackboard. I mean, many ways. Love Google. But I want you to think of, okay, as a parent, what do I need? And how can I access that information? My son's school, any of it. And then as a family specialist, I want to be productive with my time. I want to create these beautiful flyers, post it on different platforms. And then I want to have the flexibility to update and correct information quickly. I don't know about you, but I do make mistakes and I hate it when I do. But the way we are sharing our information through Google is phenomenal. You're able to correct stuff and people don't really know about it because it refreshes, it updates, and they don't get to see that part. So using Google products, specifically Google Slides, has allowed me to share information effectively and in real time, like the flyers and calendars that we're about to see. So I no longer have to go to all the platforms and delete the PDF flyers or repost the PDF flyer. It's embarrassing, guys, seriously, having to reprint or resend things. So the new way is a whole lot better. It has cut my workload in half. I truly am more effective. I have gone almost paperless when it comes to gathering information from parents or school. And I just feel like I have reached more people in this manner. So I encourage you to have an attitude of sharing, an attitude of gratitude, pay it forward, share with others, and make others' lives easier. Because ultimately the focus is reaching our parents and community. So our goal is to provide trainings to cover all 5 domains, as Araceli mentioned earlier. Every class has a link to the flyer. So will you click?
Sorry. Give me just a
it's
second.
okay.
Get back there.
So she's going to click on the calendar. Every link, every class listed there has a link. Has a link to a flyer. Every flyer was created. I like poster my wall. It's free. And some of the things that we're going to share, the family specialist trainings that we share, you're going to have that information on the how-tos. But here is the flyer. This actually was shared by another family specialist, and she created the flyer. She sent it to me. She even had the QR code, and I just had to put my personal information. And everything has a link. So if you go back, if you look all the way down, you'll see my personal information, everything. I included my Remind accounts. That those are the families that keep coming a whole lot. And I just, hey, if we're doing Love and Logic series, so these are the ladies that I need to remind, hey guys, remember we have a class going on. So at the very bottom in blue, right under my name, it has monthly newsletter and some more, Kathy.
I'm there.
Okay. There we go. So this, it's like a staple of mine. It's s'mores within a s'more. And if you scroll down just a tad bit, so I will always have my parent trainings there. I have my October calendar. Go down a little bit more. I have food pantries. That's a s'more by itself. So let's say that a family comes or calls me, Miss Lacey, I need these resources. So I have looked around my community and I've gathered all those churches or food banks, and I can just, with a click, get that link and send it to her. I don't have to send her everything, just that specific link. So these are in my opinion, the most important things for me, for my campus. I've included Region 20 there. Parenting, lots of classes on parenting. Again, I can send this whole thing, or I can just pick food, pick parenting, whatever it is, or volunteers. I have this posted always on my calendar, but I can also post it individually on my school website. Again, this is also included in the principal's s'more. So any way that I can think of, I will post it. I want parents to have this accessible to them. And it really has made my life just a lot easier.
All right. So Maribel, I love how you, everything is accessible. So parents can, you can still send some paper copies for those that need it, but most of us interact with content now using our telephones or a computer. So, anybody that can get to her calendar can access all of the resources with just a click, which is amazing.
Sorry, I was muted there. Some of the fun stuff I'm doing online. So as we began using these tools to teach the families, and within our department, like I spoke earlier, the family engagement handbook, we put it in the classroom. So we were kind of forcing ourselves to practice that. Then we created a community resource. We had it already, but we really have expanded, and I'm going to share it with you next. And then the parent presentations. So as Maribel created a presentation at her campus, she puts it in this Google folder for the other family specialists to use if they'd like. So everyone's contributing flyers, presentations, and that way they don't have to reinvent the wheel. So a family specialist is teaching a class on how to meal prep for diabetes. They have the presentation already done, then they put it in there, and any other family specialist has access to it, and they can grab it, tweak it to make it their own, because we all have different teaching styles, and then teach it to their parents. And a lot of these presentations, the family specialists, all our family specialists are bilingual, English and Spanish speakers. So they present in English and then they present in Spanish, which has been such a blessing for us. And so they're able to do that. The other thing that we started this year, we started doing book studies. A couple of years ago, we started it. But this year, they're doing book studies as a cluster. So I was able to select a couple of book titles and then purchase the books for them. And the family specialists are going to do the book studies and open it up to everyone in that high school cluster. So when we speak of clusters at Northeast, it's our high school clusters. And that way it becomes more of, we're getting more people to attend, more participants, but we're also able to make it more of an engaging group. And we give them the book. and that becomes a series. So there's a lot of collaboration going on, and then just the tools. My goal is to give as many tools as I can to the family specialists so they can do their job and they can do it easier and faster and more effective. So for me personally, that's what I try to do is what else can I get for the family specialist, and searching, and that way you build up your team on that. I wanted to share this with you, and any of y'all can go to it. So this has been a great project for me. I'm very excited about it. We created a hub for all our community resources. We've always struggled with families in crisis. They've lost a job, their house is on fire. Well, with the pandemic, we saw our numbers increase, and I'm sure everyone else did as well. So we created this hub where family specialists can use it, teachers can use it, anyone can use it, our parents can use it. So if you scroll to the top, Kathy, this is on our Northeast webpage. Any of y'all can go on there. So if you can go, let me show them how to get there, Kathy. Go to departments, and then you're going to select family engagement. And this, I would highly recommend for you all to work with other people in your department to help you with this. Then you click on family engagement. It's down at the bottom. There you go. And then bottom right, just so you know how to get there, I just wanted to show you how to get there. Community resources. So you click on that, and family specialists have been able to teach their parents how to go in there and look. So a parent is struggling and they need counseling. Go ahead and click on counseling for adults and family. So we put it in two categories. You have children, and then you have adults and family. In the past, years ago, we used to do paper copies of this. Now we put it all on the internet. So go ahead and pick one of them, that child, family, adult consultants. It has the phone number, web page. You click on it and it takes you right to their web page. You can click anyone. And then now you're at their web page, so you can go ahead and connect with them. So we've had a lot of families that have struggled and have needed resources, either free or reduced pricing. And so we wanted to create this hub. So who has access to this? Our counseling department, our McKinney-Vento, family engagement. Actually, everybody does. Teachers, principals, even our parents. So family specialists have done a whole class on how to go in there and look for these resources. Highly encourage you to try to do something like this at your campus, and or go to our webpage and you can look up some of these. If you're in the San Antonio area, feel free to use our webpage as well. It's there to help anybody. Like Maribel said earlier, we want to share. It's about giving and paying it forward. And at the end of the day, they're all our students, they're all our families. How can we help them help themselves? We've had some families that have never needed help in the past, and for whatever reason, they're struggling now. Some of them do get embarrassed, and they're embarrassed to call. But once they know about our online resource, they are able to go in there and look at it themselves, and then share it with their comadre or their neighbor down the street. Then they become the teacher, right? Oh, I have a friend that needs counseling. I'm going to go in there and show her how to do it. Then we're empowering them to teach as well. So there's just a lot of fun stuff going on that we've been able to take to the next level. Okay.
All right, and thank you, Matthew, for dropping that link in there.
Yeah.
When you do get the presentation, it's also linked on this slide, so you can always just click the slide to get directly to the resource as well. So I know you're probably hearing some big ideas repeated over and over about how we learn to connect with families online, how we learn to deliver content digitally to families. So those were some of the big rocks. We also invested some time to learn to help the family engagement department learn how to manage the workload and resources more efficiently. So as we started teaching about, how do you take resources and share them in a digital format, we also needed to kind of balance, provide them with some tools on how do you organize those resources, where should they be, and how do you manage your workload more efficiently. So we want to work smarter, not harder. So we spent some dedicated time to how do you organize and manage your email and your calendar so you can be efficient with your time. Where do you store your all your family engagement resources that you're going to share? We are a Google for Education district, so we utilize Google Drive, but even if you're a Microsoft district, you've got, the Microsoft online features. So that's important to just have those, thoughts in your mind as you move to like a digital format about how do I make my life easier and keep myself organized as I go. So learning about organizing our digital workspace, like in our browser, setting up tabs that we can launch automatically. Those were big game changers that we'll share some resources with you on as well. All right.
And so going back to this, and I know we've said it a couple of times, it's collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. As family engagement specialists, liaisons, directors, we've got to be the leaders in it, but we really have to empower other staff members, teachers, to go out and how can we do this together? Because really it does take a village. So think about all the other resources you have available within your own district and ask. Don't be afraid to ask. SEL coaches, behavioral specialists, what would you like parents to know about? Sometimes we have our occupational therapists and our speech pathologists that are like, I wish parents were to do these exercises at home. You know what? Let's collaborate. Let's put together a class for our parents that have special needs kids, and let's teach them what is it that you want them to do at home. The ITS department has been huge for us, but some of you all that are in smaller school districts, you might have very tech savvy teachers that you can tap into. They know how to do this. They get excited to use it. So just kind of be aware of what you have and then identify people and partners you can partner up with within your district and within your campus.
So we of course are a very large district. So we are very fortunate that we have a lot of resources to reach out to within our district. If you're in a smaller district maybe, and you don't have as big of a pool to pull from, like Araceli said, look out for those tech savvy teachers or just any resource people that you can connect with. But I also want to kind of let you know about some resources that are free and out there available to anyone. So the Google Certified Trainers Directory, this is a group of educators that have gone through a pretty rigorous coursework and certification process to become certified in utilizing Google tools. So this is actually linked on our slide deck, and you can look for certified trainers in your area by putting in your city or zip and reach out to those people. Google trainers are required to provide 12 hours of professional development each year. And so they're usually looking for who can I give some training to? They don't, most of them don't even charge. It's, free of service. You can connect virtually with them. Some of the most impactful work that we did together between our two departments was, learning how to create those digital calendars and flyers. We use Google tools for that. So learning more about Google and how to utilize the features of, Google Drive, Google Slides, all that good stuff is going to help make your workload a little bit better. You can also use the Google Teacher Center. This is a great place for self-guided learning. So this is not, one-on-one with one person. This is online modules that you could take coursework for free. You can elect to become certified by completing the coursework, but there's, 15 hours of training in basic at Google Workspace, and then 15 hours of training in advanced that you could do on your own time, earn credit training hours for, and just learn a ton. I think I expanded my mind hugely when I went through these certification processes myself. I learned a ton. There's also Google educator groups all over the world, and you can use that, the link here, to connect with other educators that are utilizing Google, because those are the best people to learn from, or the people around you. So other like-minded educators that you can connect with. And then of course, my very best friend in the world, Google itself. If I have a question, I go to Google and ask. So it's never let me down before. If you are happen to be in a Microsoft district, so Microsoft also has an educator training site and community that I want to connect you with as well. So one of the most amazing aspects of the time that we're living in now is learning is at your fingertips constantly. So you don't have to wait for someone to lead you to learning. You can, it's always out there and available for you in some form or format. So we're going to just share with you a couple of resources that we're going to leave you with from today's training. So these are actually presentations that we did together in our department, and they're all linked for you. So you can go in and take a look at them. So this was, how do we utilize the features of Zoom? How do we manage our email and calendars efficiently? I'm going to hop into one of them. So if you were interested in when Maribel talked about her calendar and how she was utilizing the calendar to share digitally, this slide deck that we have linked for you is going to take you through kind of what that process looks like. So you'll be able to click in, kind of see the why, and then the nitty gritty of how we actually do that. So, if you want to dig in and learn more, again, this is free. This is available at your fingertips, and it walks you through step by step. How do you, create a digital calendar and how do you link everything? Madi, anything I need to add to that?
No, I'm just so excited for you guys. It will change your life. And somebody posted about duplicating our efforts. That's what I'm saying. Gosh, if I have it, you can have it. And we should have that mindset. We all have the same goal. And if you can make my life easier, please send stuff my way. So this is going to be yours. It's going to be yours. This is amazing stuff.
Yep.
Yes.
So this was a biggie that we worked on together, is the calendars. Then we talked about how to teach effectively online. So this presentation is not, the top one is more the nitty gritty of using Zoom. The bottom one is more like engagement strategies. So how do you get your families interacting with the content? And so you're not teaching to a bunch of, black boxes on Zoom that have a name on there. You want people cameras on, you want them excited to learn, you want them interacting with the content. So this one is tips and tricks to, get them, interacting with you. As we started utilizing our Google Drives, they become very full. And so we did spend some time on how to spring clean, keep that organized. So this one really breaks it down into steps for you. And then the last one that I want to mention is flyers. So if you remember when Madi showed her calendar, we clicked into the flyers. They were absolutely breathtaking. And this presentation, we talked about some tools like Canva, Poster My Wall, that are going to make you look really good because they do all the graphic design work for you. You just go in and edit and put the, your specific campus elements in there. So, with, she's able to create these just breathtaking, aesthetically beautiful flyers, publish them online with the links and everything to get the families there. And it's been, I would say, Maribel, like hugely impactful. It makes you look super talented, right?
Very tech savvy. Yes. Thank you, Kathy.
Yes. So these, when you, they're going to post this presentation, I believe, on the website. And when you get in, when you click on any of these images, it'll take you to the individual presentation. So you'll have access to all of these to dig in. But I wanted to kind of open them up and show you, you only know what you know. If you don't click in and take a look at it, you can't learn and grow. So we want to make sure that you do get in there.
Yes. And then thank you, Kathy. And the last thing we just wanted to share with you guys. Okay, this is all great. We go to a training, we get all this information. Where do I start? Where do I do this at my campus? So create a committee with invested stakeholders. If you can get administrators, other family specialists from your district, and begin with the end in mind. These are the things that I want to be able to do. Chunk it into pieces. Make sure your goals are reasonable, and then start plugging in and put some kind of structure together and don't do it by yourself. You have to have collaborators. We've been able to grow and continue to grow because we get so many people to help us out with their areas where their expertise. Also tap into Region 20 has been wonderful with a lot of parent classes. Region 16, the same thing. Tap into your own education service center. I know we're running out of time, so I'll make it quickly. And look to see what information, what classes can you do so you can train together, work together, and then grow together. I know we have to wrap it up, so we appreciate you all's time. Matthew and his group are gonna, I don't know if they're emailing the presentation, Katie, or are y'all putting it on the website? I'm not too sure. People are asking on that, but they're gonna share all this with you, I promise, and you all will have access to all of this work that we've been able to do at Northeast. So it's very exciting to share this information. At